Hello and welcome to the Fans Boxing Podcast, the podcast that asks the questions you want to hear. Hello, and you're listening to the Fans Boxing Podcast. It's my pleasure to welcome to this week's show Cambridge's former English champion. It's Tyler, the El Tornado, Goodjohn. How are you today, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm great. Thank you very much, Adam. Cheers. Yeah. Thanks for having me on it.
No worries. Thanks for giving up your time. I know how busy your days are.
Yeah, it's pretty mad, but it's all worth it.
Yeah, of course, mate. First of all, could you just recap your career so far a little bit and tell the listeners how it all started for you in boxing and what was the motivation for walking through them gym doors, mate?
I started at an amateur club called Hadnam ABC when I was 10. Purely just for the reason that I was quite an overweight child, and more I was really into my football, and my parents sort of pushed me into doing well at football. But yeah, like I say, I was an overweight kid and just getting left on the bench and that. So it was one of them where I sort of went into boxing just to lose weight, and yeah, just got the bug for it, and then football took a back seat and boxing took over, really.
Yeah, would you say the boxing come naturally to you?
No, not at all. I lost my first 7 amateur fights in a row.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was pretty dreadful, to be fair. But yeah, I was 11 and it just didn't really bother me. I enjoyed it for what it was, and I think if I'd been 16, 17, I'd lost 7 fights and the bouncer probably would have jacked it in. But being 11, I was sort of, I just went with it, and then it just all of a sudden clicked and all come together, really. I ended up winning a national title and getting to the finals, and so I really turned it round, and yeah, and just loved it. So, like I say, it's the bug. Once you go, you can't stop going back.
Would you say your brother's a bit of a motivation as well? Obviously, being older and in the boxing gym.
To be honest, with my brother, we started at the same time, but
right, yeah.
He actually had 3 years out, so. It was like I say. It was just something that I become, a bit obsessed with. Really, yeah. It was just an addiction, and I had a very good amateur trainer called Mike Sawyer, who just, give up loads of his time. He sort of done 2 days a week with all the other lads, and then trained me, solely just 2 days a week as well. So I had a great mentor, growing up, and that was probably the main thing. I always had someone there to look up to and push me when I needed to be pushed.
Yeah, of course, that's brilliant. And so over them 70 bouts, what do you say is your highlight?
Winning the junior ABAs.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, the year before that, I got to the final, and I lost to a really good lad called Ryan Aston, who won it about 4 or 5 times anyway.
He's a pro now, isn't he?
I was gutted. But then. Yeah, it was quite a funny story, really. I boxed over at Norwich, and I was working on a building site at the time, just left school, and yeah, it was. I was finding it really hard to fit the training in alongside work. I was just so tired. I boxed over at Norwich against a lad from Earl Shelton in Leicester, and I ended up losing by a point to him, just purely because I wasn't fit enough, and it was like, you know what, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna go for these junior ABAs. I'm gonna try and win them, and then just see if I can go pro from there. That was the thing. I was just gonna see what's happened, and yeah, like I say, I trained like a pro for the junior ABAs and ended up boxing the lad that I lost to at Norwich in the final, and ended up beating him by about 8 points.
Oh, great!
So it was so it was a great ending, really. And then from there, I started going down to Essex and training at a pro gym down there, and yeah, just decided to turn pro at like 18, 19, which was probably a bit early in hindsight, but it felt right at the time.
Yeah, how was how did the training change from obviously going from amateur to pro?
Yeah, massively. It was where I sort of was going down to Essex when I was about 16, 17. It was I was probably always training like a pro, really,
yeah.
Or at least got used to it. In days I wasn't down there full time, but I got used to a bit of the training. So when I did finally turn pro, it was, it wasn't such a drastic change. But yeah, the change, the training from amateur to professional is they're two different sports. You know what I mean? They're obviously such longer rounds, and it's you have to be willing to give your time to professional. That's the thing. You need the time to train. You need the time to recover because the training is that much harder.
Yeah, of course. And your debut in 2010, it came at the famous York Hall. How was the pressure going into that debut?
Do you know what? I look back on it. Obviously, see a lot of people making their debut now, and the feeling I had, I was just so excited. I was not nervous one bit, and I can remember my trainer at the time just saying, "Do you know what? It's you're going to be so nervous on your debut," but I wasn't. I was just so excited about it, and I think that sort of proved it in my performance. I went out there and stopped him in 2 rounds. I absolutely loved my debut. I thought it went really well. Yeah, something obviously I can remember.
So I bet added spice to that debut was obviously being on Tyson Fury's undercard as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a great debut to have. It was on like an American TV channel and that. Tyson Fury, John O'Donnell was boxing, a former Olympian and that. So yeah, it was a fantastic debut to make. Me and I was training at the time with someone with a famous boxer now called John Ryder. We made both made our debut on the same night, which was nice. It was I've got great memories that night.
Yeah, of course. And so your first 4 fights, they were first 3 fights were journeyman type. Do you enjoy trying to unlock these kind of characters?
To be honest, I was 19 at the time, so they were good fights at that time, but not so much. I don't think I've fought anyone with a losing record since I was 19.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't really. I think they're very important early on, like I say, for about 2 or 3 fights. But I think after that, you should slowly start stepping it up a bit.
Yeah.
You sort of get these guys who are quite happy to sit on 12, 13 fights, boxing journeymen and that, and I don't agree with that, but that's up to them.
Yeah, each people take the different paths, don't they?
Yeah.
Of course. And leading up to his first fight with Cassius Connor, can you talk us through that fight? Obviously leading up being a trilogy in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, it was on a dinner show in Essex.
Yeah.
My trainer at the time put just a dinner show on. At the time, I didn't really know anything about Danny, to be honest. Like I say, I was 19. Just took the fight as it comes. It ended up being a real scrap, to be fair. I remember my face being very bruised afterwards. It was just a great learning fight at the time. He knew a lot of tricks, and I was a kid, so it was a big fight for me. Well, it turned out to be a big fight for me. And then obviously we went on and had another 2 fights. So it's nice.
Yeah. So your first defeat, and not a lot of people know this, but at the time you were carrying an illness into this fight, and that led to you being in the hospital a long time afterwards, didn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what? There were so many factors going into it. I was, like I say, I was a kid, and I had a lot of stomach problems at the time. I was living down in Essex on my own for months at a time, training, and I had these problems. And even now, my biggest problem is that I train through things, even injuries, anything. I train through it, and I kept training through it, and then eventually I ended up in hospital having cameras put in my stomach and all kinds of tests and things like that. And about 2 or 3 weeks after the fight, I was just feeling dreadful. But again, because I was living in Essex and I was a full-time pro, I needed the money, I needed to box. So I just carried on, and I boxed through it, and I just absolutely felt a bit in the fight. Ended up in hospital about 2 days after, and it was ended up being a thing called hypoglycemia, which is when your blood sugar drops. I think I was told it was meant to be between 5 and 7. Mine was at about 2.
Oh God.
And it was just, to be honest, it was quite lucky really that I didn't get in a lot more sort of trouble than I did really, and get badly hurt. So I just had to take that and have a few months out, get it sorted. Even now I have to keep checking my blood and that when I'm in training and things like that, just to make sure that it's not dropping. But yeah, it's all experience, and unfortunately, I had to go through a pretty a bad experience to learn from it. But that's the way it goes. You just got to take it on the chin.
Yeah, valuable lesson at the end of it.
Yeah.
Of course, so we move on to the second fight with Conor. A lot of people say it was a controversial decision tonight. How do you see that?
I obviously thought I won it. If I'm brutally honest, I thought I boxed terrible when I look back on it now, but I still thought I won it. I thought I won it purely on work rate, but I boxed terrible. I didn't. There was no head movement, no nothing. I mean, it was a good fight for the fans. I mean, I come forward, I forced the fight. You know, Danny boxed off the back foot, but yeah, I didn't think I boxed great. So, although I won it at the time, and I remember even his fans saying that I'd won it and things like that, it's when I look back on it, well, I try not to watch it if I'm honest, because I believed I boxed that badly, but yeah, it obviously made the third fight, so in a way it was a blessing, you know.
Yeah, and there was 3 wins in a row, then the third fight, as you said, and that was a good fight. Yeah,
it was. I mean, to be honest, the second fight was at welterweight, and I didn't. The only reason I ever moved down to light welter was because I was chasing Danny Conner, and I had to get that win. It was a lot had happened after that fight, because at the time I was with Tony Sims, and I'd lost to Danny, and actually about 2 days later, Tony Sims run me up and he released me from the gym. So I didn't have a gym, didn't have a trainer, didn't have a manager. And I was sort of like on the verge of jacking it in, and then I pulled myself up and I said, you know what, I'm not, I was only 20, 21. I thought, I've got so much more to give. And like I said, I didn't believe I boxed my best. So I just ended up training myself, and then got back in with Peter Sims, funny enough. With his brother. I went down and sparred there a few times, and then Peter see me, and he could obviously see that I had so much more to give. And then like a few fights down the line, I ended up fighting Danny and winning. So it went exactly how I wanted it, and I believed it would go. Yeah,
and obviously after that, you had lead up to the big fight for the English title against Nurse, wasn't it? And again, a lot of people didn't know this. If we look at boxing, people think everyone's earning big money as soon as you get on the telly, but it's not always like that, is it?
No, it's a really, really hard game, boxing. It's like I say, I lived down in Essex for like 4 or 5 years, and I lived on, I paid my rent, I paid my food, my bills, my training expenses all come out of my fight money, which wasn't a lot, So I had to make it stretch. And with the Tyrone Nurse fight, about 6 weeks out, I burst what's called a costal cartilage, like a muscle on your rib. Sparring Kevin Mitchell. So I literally didn't spar till about 2 weeks out, and it was quite funny, really. We were talking in the gym all about these winning head guards and all this. I've always had a Klitschko raised head guard. The winning head guards are the best. So I ended up spending about £400 on a winning head guard. My first spar back got cut on my nose about 2 weeks out from the Tyrone Nurse fight. Ended up going to hospital, getting it all glued back together and that. And like you say, at the end of the day, I trained for about 12 weeks for this fight. So I ended up spending so much money on my training expenses. Now I had no choice but to fight. So I went into the fight with a busted rib, and my nose was just a complete mess, got glued back together. First round just come apart, and just my face was just a bloody mask, really, the whole fight. But to be honest with you, like I don't believe that I would have beat Tyrone Nurse if I'd been 100% fit. I believe he was a level above me that night, but it didn't help going in there with the injuries that I had,
Of course, that's very honest of you there.
He's a great fighter, Tyrone Nurse. I think he's showing how good he is now.
Exactly.
With his performances. So.
He's a bit of a, I hate to say it, a bit of a freak at the weight, isn't he, with his height and reach?
Do you know what? He's horrible. Like, he's just like no one else. You can't mirror him in sparring or anything. He's his own style pretty much. So, I think he'll go all the way. I think he'll definitely get to world level.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And after that, we went in with Ricky Boyan, the Matchroom Golden Boy, as they call him at the time. He was unbeaten. Yeah. And first of all, how did you get treated as being the away fighter at Matchroom? Because obviously you're seeing like Sunday League football and football, the away team always get treated badly. Is that the truth in boxing?
Yeah, definitely. It's I've pretty much been the away fighter. I've boxed on Matchroom shows probably about 5 or 6 times, and I've been the away fighter probably about 4 of them. You don't get treated great. I remember after, like I say, going back to the nurse fight, I remember after the fight I fractured my nose, and my eyes had pretty much swollen over, and I remember going outside the doctor calling me afterwards and saying I have to go to hospital. And I had to actually go outside the venue and call my own taxi and take myself to hospital. I pretty much couldn't even see. And I had to flag my own taxi down outside the venue and take myself to hospital with a fractured nose and swollen eyes and that. So, I know the score. I know that you're not going to get treated the best, but it's never bothered me. I'm there to fight, and I'm not there to be patted on the back and told how great I am and that. I'm there to fight. That's it. So I went into that fight confident.
Yeah, going into that fight, obviously, like I say, he was the golden boy, a really good boxer, and that seemed to bring the best out of you that night. I mean, you shocked a few people how you fought on the back foot.
Yeah.
And the combinations you're putting together, that really did shock a few people.
Yeah, I was. I've always been a good boxer, and that's the thing. Obviously over the years, I've learned to adapt my style and box on the back foot, and just like with that fight, it was, to be honest, like I was going in that fight. I was really struggling with the weight with that fight, and I actually had to lose half a stone on the morning of that fight because I was late to the weigh-in, and then I boxed and if I'm honest, again, I think I should have got him out there within 2 or 3 rounds. I was landing bombs on him, but if I hadn't been so weight drained, I would have knocked him out because I was hitting him with shots clean. And if I hadn't have been so weight drained, I should have got him out there. In all honesty, but credit to him, he took it. He come back, and I actually got cut in about the 6th round, I think, and I had a whole round where I couldn't see out of my eye, so I actually had to box on the back foot. And then my trainer just said, "Look, switch it up now. You're winning this fight easy. Just go on the back foot and just show what you can do on the back foot." And I did. So I was pleased I could show that different element to my game as well. So, when it comes to the score again with the away fighter thing, I had Jim Watt, Glenn McCoy thinking I won it by about 5 rounds, and actually come to the scorecards and one judge had it a draw. Yeah, because I was a away fighter, and I thought, as soon as they said the draw was the first one, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to get this here. It's going to go against me. Yeah. But, if you can get a win and you're a away fighter when he's the golden boy like that, you've done well. So
yeah, of course.
I didn't.
Yeah, from a fan's perspective, winning the English title, that's a massive achievement. How did it feel for you?
Yeah, I was over the moon. I was absolutely over the moon. Like I said when I boxed Tyrone Nurse, to win the English title was my world title. I'm under no illusions that I'm going to be a world champion. So what belts and what achievements I can make in this game that is brilliant. So as soon as I won that English title, from my mum and my dad to see me bring something out of this game, and they know how much I put into it. It was just more for my family, really, to show that actually I put all this time and hard effort into it, and I've come out with this belt. It's a proud moment.
Yeah, you deserved it, mate. Obviously, it's only 3 months later you were put in straight in with John Wayne Hibbert for the WMC International Belt. Yeah. Can you tell us how that fight went on the night, buddy?
Yeah, again, it was in hindsight's a wonderful thing. I should have moved up to welterweight after the Boylan fight. Like I say, really struggling with the weight. Yeah. If I'd do my time again, I would have moved up. But again, I just made it to the point where actually I was making pretty good money out of my fight purses. Got called into Matchroom, and they were like, I could, move up or defend the English or whatever, but you're not going to get a lot of money. Take this fight, you'll be on TV, you'll be earning this much. Win that, you'll earn that much. And I sort of walked out of the Matchroom offices like, do you know what, I've cracked it. Like, I can do one more fight at this weight. And training camp went absolutely spot on. I went out and I think we had about a month out in Marbella. I was sparring Tom Stalker, Bradley Saunders. I had brilliant sparring. I was really performing, and then about a week out, I had a stone to lose, and I just couldn't shift it. I was like walking around at like 2.5% body fat, and I just couldn't shift it. And I ended up losing 10 pounds the night before the fight.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I just even with the WBC, you have to go and get drug tested afterwards in a little room, and I ended up weeing blood and all sorts. So I had to go to hospital and all sorts. Yeah, so it was just a complete nightmare. It was I was just a walking punch bag that night. And again, the plan going into that fight was pretty much like the Boylan one. I was going to box on the back foot, but I just couldn't do it. I had zero energy. I don't even know how I really done my boots up on my done my laces up on my boots that night, let alone got in there and had a fight. But yeah, again, I learned a really hard lesson that night, and that's don't boil down to weight.
So it's a stupid question, but obviously you feel a lot happy at welterweight, don't you?
Oh, millions. Yeah, I'm a different guy because I can enjoy my training for once. It's just always been it's been always counting calories, weighing my food, scared to do this, scared to do that, scared to eat. And yeah, now I can actually eat a bit and have the energy to train hard. And yeah, it's just I'm a different man. I am a different man, and I think you'll see that in the upcoming fight, how much of a difference it will make.
Yeah, and obviously after the Hibbert fight, you had a time away from the sport and passed as retirement. And can you tell us a little bit about that? But it led to a good thing, obviously starting your own business as well, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, it was going back to the weight thing. I sort of had issues with my trainer, who's Peter Sims, who's my manager now. We had issues about moving up in weight and things like that, and it just sort of got to the point where we just sort of had a big falling out, really. And then I just made the massive decision to move back home to Ely, Cambridgeshire. And I was a bit like I was just fell out of love with the sport, to be honest. I like I say, I had 5 years in Essex, trained everything, give it everything I got, and I sort of come back here and I didn't really have anything to show for it. Obviously I had the English title, but I didn't really feel like I had anything to show for it. I didn't have a gym, I didn't have a trainer. So yeah, I took a few months out, started my own gym up, and then like I say, you just that bug come back. So I had to get back in there and do it.
Yeah, you've had one fight back into your comeback up the York Hall. How'd that go at welterweight?
Yeah, it was good. Again, like it's just I have a catalogue of things go wrong. The last week I ended up getting abscesses in both of my back teeth. It was just I was a horrible week leading up to my fight. No sleep, in pain every night. But I felt all right. But it was a mediocre performance, if I'm honest. And the class of opponent wasn't. I wanted a better opponent, but everyone was like, "Look, you've had a year out. You need to get back in there to shed some rust or whatever." But it was a fight I didn't really want. The guy didn't really want it. Yeah, and it was one of those where I sort of go out the ring and I didn't really feel like I'd achieved anything. And funny enough, I actually said to my missus and my family that was going to be my last fight. That was it. I've lost the buzz afterwards. I just didn't feel like I really got anything from it. Being in all them hard fights in a row, and then coming into a fight where I was expected to win, I just didn't get anything from it. And then I sort of said to my missus and that it was over. And then about 2 or 3 days later, I got the phone call that I was fighting Johnny Garton, and that was exactly what I needed. It was the biggest pick me up I could have ever asked for, and ever since then I've just been flying in training because it's them kind of fights that I need. Yeah.
Can you just tell us about, obviously you were supposed to fight Garton before, weren't you, and then had to pull out through injury. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks before the fight. We actually had the press conference the night before for the fight.
Yeah, I can remember that.
Yeah, and we went and sparred down in Birmingham, Sam Egerton's gym.
Yeah.
And it was one of them days where actually, do you know what, everything happened. It was like almost like someone was telling us not to go. we went to Birmingham and there was a massive accident on the way there, so it actually took us like 3 hours. And me and my trainer Steve Whipple, we both said to each other, "Do you know what? We might as well just turn back. You know, we've been sat in the car like 2-3 hours now." And I just sort of said, "Nah, do you know what? I really want this sparring. So look, you know, let's just try and make it through the back roads." And yeah, I ended up going there after taking like 3.5 hours to get there. Quickly put my bandages on, warmed up, got in the ring, done 4 rounds for a right hand, and fractured my hand. So it was it was a complete a nightmare 3 weeks out. So
yeah, can you tell us a bit about obviously meeting up with Steve Whipple again, and what's he changed in your camps?
Do you know what? I've known Steve for years from my Hadnam amateur days. I really like Steve. Right from day one, like I say, when I knew him when I was a kid, you know, we always got on, and my brother was actually training over there at the time that I come back and lived at home. So I was just over there doing a few sessions, and that ended up doing a bit of pads with him, and I think we just clicked pretty much instantly. And I really rate Steve as a trainer. I think he's a really good trainer. The amount I've learned in the short space I've been with him, I think it's a matter of, you know, when you're a trainer in London, you're spoilt for choice with all the fighters that come to you and want to turn over, you know, and you end up making a massive name for yourself because, like I say, if you've got 10 boys, at least 1 or 2 of them are gonna make something of themselves. But with Steve, you know, Cambridgeshire boxing is just right under the radar. It just, you know, there's a couple of amateur clubs dotted about, but no one's really ever turning over. So Steve's, you know, struggling to make that name for himself purely on the basis he's just not got the fighters to train. So yeah, like I say, I really, really rate him. I think, you know, technically, you know, we do stuff on the pads, and he really drums it into you, you know, which, you know, people may think that can be a bit boring, but it's not. You know, at the end of the day, practice makes perfect, and you know, I can see that when I'm training and when I'm sparring, I'm throwing these shots that we've practiced on the pads. So he's a brilliant trainer, and I'm really pleased to be with him.
Yeah, because he was down our way in East Anglia with one of your other fighters, Matty Parr.
Yeah, last week. Yeah.
I watched that fight, and coming from a fan, that was a bit of a robbery, mate. Yeah,
well, we were actually talking about it today. We done track this morning, and we were talking about it today, and he sort of said he didn't really understand, especially with the knockdown in the last round. But
yeah, of course.
No, that's boxing. It's you know, it comes down to a judge's opinion at the end of the day, and it's not always what you want, but you know, you just have to take it sometimes. Well, you've got no choice but to take it, and just move on. So
could that obviously motivate you a bit more as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think I don't believe that, you know, a knockback, you know, it tests your character, and you've got 2 choices: to fold or crack on. And you know, that's, like you say, it builds your character up, and when you do get that win the next time round, it feels that much better.
Yeah, of course, well said. So your fight with Gatlin's about under 2 months away now. Can you tell us what your plans you got in the gym for the next 2 months and all the preparation?
Do you know what? I've been ticking over brilliant. Like pretty much since I broke my hand, I've been in the gym, even just doing pads with my left hand and things like that. Just being really positive about the whole situation. Just thinking, do you know what? If I'm in the gym and I'm practicing and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, the fight will come round, and I've been rewarded for being that positive. And yeah, I've been in camp, like proper camp now, about 7 weeks. Just putting all the pads. I've started sparring last week, and I've got some great sparring and that at the minute. And yeah, just everything's going spot on at the minute. So I really can't complain. It's just got to stay that way for the next 2 months, and no injuries, obviously.
Of course, yeah, that's the main thing, mate. And how much do you know about your opponent, and how much do you rate him?
I rate Johnny Garton. I think he's a good fighter. I think we're cut from the same cloth a bit. I know that he likes to have a fight, and you know, he's been Southern Area champion. He's defended it 3 times. Yeah. You know, and obviously in his last fight, he scored pretty much a highlight reel knockout against Ryan Fields. So I rate him. I think he's a good fighter, and like I say, that for me, that's fuel to the fire for me. You know, I want these good fighters, with these good records. That's what I want. I want there to be a loss on their record from Tyler Goodjohn. So.
Yeah, of course. And obviously, you're aiming to become a two-weight English champion as well.
Yeah, that would be amazing. More than anything, just the weight issues for me. I want to go up there. I want to show everyone. But do you know what? Like, I've been talking about it for a long time. You know, with my old team, with people and things like that. And I've said for a long time I'll be a different fighter at welter, and I just want to prove that, and then move on from. You know, not saying this is going to be an easy fight, because I know for a fact it's not going to be. But I know that I can win this fight, and then we'll see what happens in the future.
Brilliant, yeah. It's got the makings for a great fight.
Yeah.
Would you say you're a massive fan of the sport, away from your own career?
I am. I love it. I can. I'm such a I've seen the real bad sides of boxing, so it's one of them where I have a lot of hate for it, but I have a lot of love for it as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, as a sport, I think it's an amazing sport. I think each and every fighter who does their thing, I think they're amazing. I think, you know, that I know what I put in, day out training, and then to just get in that ring, it's the maddest feeling in the world. Getting in that ring, you're facing your demons, and you're basically going in there. And when it's on TV in front of all them fans and that as well, it looks so easy in the sofa, but it's so hard. So yeah, I've the biggest amount of respect for it. But like I say, that the professional business side of boxing, I absolutely hate. And one of those where, do you know what? When I'm finished boxing, I'll probably write a book, because I've got so many stories.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And yeah, I absolutely hate it. I think there's promoters and people within the sport have got a lot to answer for, and treat boxers very badly. And I've seen it firsthand, like I say. And yes, but when it's on TV or live and they're in that ring and no one else has got anything else to do with it, it's a fantastic sport.
Yeah, it's well said, that is, because I've myself, like, running this podcast and interviewing boxers, you see a different side of the sport, and it is a business, and people forget that. It
is. It's like, I think, you know, people. It's like I say, it's so easy. It's so easy to criticise people when you watch it on TV or live and say, "Oh, I didn't do this, didn't do that," or whatever. But you know, you see when you're them 12 weeks, 10 weeks training camp. There's a million things going on, and like I say, it's. I love hearing retired fighters' stories, because then you see what they had to deal with. And like I say, one day I'll write a book, and it will open people's eyes, and they'll think, wow, that's, you know, I didn't think that. Even little things I've said to people, and they've just been like, Jesus, I really didn't think it was like that. And you're like, yeah, it is. You know, that's the way the game is. Yeah. It's not as glamorous as people think it is.
No, of course. Thanks for sharing that with us. And another thing is, obviously, you lads are putting your life on the line. You should be making the money, not the bloody promoters. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. It's the thing. You know, but promoters at the end of the day, you know, promoters are coming in there to make themselves some money, but at the same time, a lot of promoters do have a lot to answer for. They are exploiting fighters, and and there's fighters out there who aren't earning the money that people think they are.
Exactly. Like I said at the start, so as soon as you see them on telly, you just presume they're earning big money, don't you? But it's not the case.
Of course you do. Yeah.
Yeah, just have your predictions on a few fights coming up. That's all right, Tyler?
Yeah.
Tyler, sorry. The big fight that's been announced lately is obviously Kell Brook stepping up all this weight to fight GGG. What do you think about, obviously, him stepping up the weight and how the fight's going to go?
I personally take my hat off to Kell Brook for taking the fight. I think he's obviously shown balls beyond belief. But I just can't see it going any further than about 5-6 rounds.
Really, yeah.
I just, you know, I think you just have to look at what Golovkin's doing to these big middleweights. He's not just knocking them out; he's putting people to sleep. You know, people aren't even coming close to him. And like I say, they're big guys, and they're hitting him with big shots, and Golovkin's just taking it. And
And I think you just have to say, like, I know Kell Brook's saying, oh, I'm going to be natural to the weight and all things like that. But, let's be honest, he's not a KO artist at welterweight. So,
Exactly.
moving up 2 weights, I don't see how he's going to hurt Golovkin enough that, he's going to be able to keep him off him. So, I think within 5 or 6 rounds, I think Golovkin's just going to be too strong, too game, and punch way too hard. But fair play for him to take it.
Yeah. You don't think it's always about money then? You do?
No, I've watched a few interviews. I actually watched the press conference yesterday. I think Kell Brook generally believes that he can go in there and win that. And if he thinks, like, he's got that mentality where he just wants to be the best he can be and make history and fight these great guys, fair play to him. Like I say, I think he's got massive balls. But
exactly.
I think the Amir Khan situation with Canelo, I think that was obviously purely for money.
Yeah.
Because then you see all these stupid things he's coming out with now, with about going UFC and all that kind of nonsense.
Oh, yeah, I saw that today. Yeah.
But I think Khan needs to concentrate on just fighting at welterweight.
Yeah.
But going back to Kell Brook, fair play to him. I've got massive respect for him for taking the fight.
Yeah, of course. I just see it in the olden days that you clean up your own division, then you step up in weight, don't it?
Yeah, I think so,
jumping
yeah.
And that's one of them things, mate. And obviously you've got the rearranged fight coming up soon between Tyson Fury and Klitschko. How do you see this fight going? Do you think it's a repeat or revenge?
I think Klitschko's got to go and do something this time. I was shocked at how little he done last time. I mean, that's not taking anything away from Tyson Fury. I think he boxed the fight that he had to box, and it was a boring fight to watch, but he had to box the fight he had to box, and he won the fight. But for me, Klitschko didn't really throw a right hand till about the 10th round. He didn't really look like he knew didn't look like he wanted to do anything in that fight.
Yeah.
So I think he's just got to go and, if it's a matter of going out on your shield or whatever, he's got to go out there and he's got to take the fight to Tyson Fury this time. So I think it'll be a different fight. But which could ultimately change the decision. But I think Tyson Fury can do it again.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Tyson Fury and his ways out of the ring?
I find him hilarious, like what he does, but whether or not he's good for the sport, I don't really know. But I find him funny. I mean, he is what he is, and I think you have to respect the fact that he says it how he is. He doesn't mince his words. He doesn't really care what people think of him. So I think you have to respect that. But there's a few things that go on where you're a bit like, he probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, exactly. There's no filter, is there?
Nah, not at all. No.
All right, one more question. Before the end of 2016, is there one fight you could see on the world stage? What would that be? It's a tricky one, I know.
Yeah, it is a tricky one. Probably, I'd like to see Keith Thurman in with one of the very top guys, even perhaps Mayweather. Yeah. I like Keith Thurman. I think he's a good boxer, and I think he can punch. Obviously it was a great fight with Sean Porter. I'd just like to see him. I think he can go on and dominate the welterweight team. I think I'd just like to see him in with a really big name. Perhaps even Danny Garcia or something like that, moving up, unbeaten. Garcia. It would be a great fight, 2 unbeaten guys facing each other. Both big punchers. I think it would make a great fight, actually.
Same here. Yeah. Obviously, you've got a big fight coming up. What's the best way of getting tickets for people?
Through me on El Tornado, Tyler Goodjohn on Facebook, or Tornado Tyler on Twitter, or there's actually a link on iBox Tickets that I put up constantly on my Facebook. That actually, you can buy tickets on there and they'll get sent out to you. That actually counts as part of my allocation as well, so it helps me out. That's what obviously pays my wages for the fight. It helps me, so much. But just Facebook, Twitter, or my Instagram really, which again is Tornado Tyler. So
yep, we'll put links in there for that as well. And before you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd just like to thank. I've got sponsors. DM Roofing. I've got Ashco Building and Maintenance, and Chris Norman Carpentry. They've really helped me out. I mean, I had that nightmare breaking my hand, and I couldn't work or anything. And I've just had a newborn. I've had a little baby girl as well a month ago. So obviously,
congratulations on that, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. So it was it was all a bit of a nightmare timing, really. But they really helped me out with money and things like that, and got me back into the situation that I am now with the fight. So yeah, I'm really grateful to these guys.
Right, brilliant, buddy. And I appreciate you giving up your time today, or how stressful your days are. And I wish you all the best going into that fight on 17th of September, and people get at them for them tickets.
Yeah, nice one, Adam. Thanks a lot, mate.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate. Catch you later, buddy.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.